I'm Miss Eng, and this is our second episode of A Better Way. And Miss Jill is not with me today because she is visiting her lovely daughter down south, further south than Bethel Park, far, far south, like even further than Canonsburg, in another state. So I'm here with you, and I'm here to talk with you about something. Maybe you have said these kinds of things before. Maybe you have believed them about yourself. Have you ever said something like, you know what, I'm just not a math person. I don't get math. I'm good at English. I can write a poem. I can sing a song. That's my thing. I am whatever half of the brain it is that is good at those things and terrible at math. Or I hate math. Or math is too hard. I was one of those people. I was. Until I started working here at the library. And then I started going to this wonderful organization's conferences, the National Association for the Education of the Young Child. And that's where I really started to get into early childhood math and learning about it and realizing that, and I dug even deeper because I often fall into a big hole, that there really isn't anything about this right-brained, left-brained kind of person. Yes, there are areas of the brain that control certain functions, but if you would look at an MRI or a CT scan of an artist and a mathematician, their brains would essentially look the same. And what happens when we think about, well, I'm left-brained or I'm right-brained, it really just limits the good experiences we can have and makes us feel anxious about those things that we think we're just not wired to be able to do. I can recall hearing people say, well, my dad was good at math, my grandfather was good at math, and I'm good at math. That's what it is. We don't really read. We are math people. We are numbers people. Or the exact opposite. Just please don't even give me a word problem. But I do think that there is something definitely to be said for math anxiety. And the link you can see up there, we have links to some articles and whatnot from NACI and from other organizations that can give you some great tips on working with your kid in math. And what I'd like to read to you is this fabulous book by John Sheska and illustrated by Lane Smith called Math Curse. Because for me, when I was in school, I struggled and struggled and struggled with math. And a lot of that was probably because, one, I probably didn't do my math homework because I didn't like it. And two, I just didn't think that I was good at all. And so this is a pretty funny book, I think, about how one day Mrs. Fibonacci, get it? Fibonacci numbers, puts a math curse on this young student. I believe it's a true story. On Monday in math class, Mrs. Fibonacci says, you know, you can think of almost everything as a math problem. On Tuesday, I start having problems. I wake up at 7:15. It takes me 10 minutes to get dressed, 15 minutes to eat my breakfast, and 1 minute to brush my teeth. Suddenly it's a problem. 1, if my bus leaves at 8 o'clock, will I make it on time? 2, how many minutes are in 1 hour? 3, how many teeth are in one mouth? I look in my closet and problems get worse. I have 1 white shirt, 3 blue shirts, 3 striped shirts, and 1 really ugly plaid shirt from Uncle Zeno. The questions. 1, how many shirts is that altogether? 2, how many shirts would I have if I threw away the ugly plaid one? 3, when will Uncle Zeno stop sending me ugly shirts? I'm getting a little worried. Everything seems to be a problem. I take the milk out for my cereal, and I wonder, 1, how many quarts are in a gallon? How many pints are in a quart? How many inches in a foot? How many feet in a yard? How many yards in a neighborhood? How many inches in a pint? How many feet in my shoes? I don't even bother to take out the cereal. I don't even want to know how many flakes are in a bowl. Mrs. Fibonacci has put a math curse on me. Everything is a math problem. I try to get on the bus without thinking that there are 5 kids already on the bus and 5 kids get on at my stop, and 5 kids get on at the next stop, and 5 more kids get on at the last stop, and 5 more kids, oh, true or false? What is the bus driver's name? Mrs. Fibonacci has a chart of what month everyone's birthday is in. 1. Which month has the most birthdays? 2. Which month has the fewest? 3. Why doesn't February have a W in it? 4. Don't you think this chart sort of looks like a row of buildings? I think it does. 5. Do you ever look at clouds and think that they look like something else? And 6. Does this look like an ink blot to you? The whole morning is one big problem after another. There are 24 kids in my class, right? And I just know someone is going to bring in cupcakes to share. If we sit in 4 rows with 6 desks in each row, what if Mrs. Fibonacci arranges the desk to make 6 rows? 8 rows? 3 rows? 2 rows? I count the 24 kids in our class again, this time by 2s. Then Jake scratches his paper with one finger. How many fingers are in our class? Casey pulls Eric's ear. How many ears are in our class? The new girl, Kelly, sticks her tongue out at me. How many tongues are in our class? I'm about to really lose it when the lunch bell rings. Unfortunately for me, lunch is pizza and apple pie. Each pizza is cut into 8 equal slices. Each apple pie is cut into 6 equal slices. That means fractions. If I want 2 slices of pizza, should I ask for 1/8, 2/8, or 2 slices of pizza? What is another way to say 1/2 of an apple pie? 2/6, 3/6, la moitié d'une tarte aux pommes. Which tastes greater, 1/2 of a pizza, 1/2 of an apple pie? We haven't studied fractions yet, so I take out 12 carrot sticks, 3 at a time, and I eat them 2 at a time. In the afternoon, every subject is a problem. In social studies, it's a geography problem. The Mississippi River is about 400 kilometers long. An M&M is about 1 centimeter long. There are 100 centimeters in a meter and 1,000 meters in a kilometer. Estimate the number of M&Ms it would take to measure the length of the Mississippi River. Estimate how many M&Ms you would eat if you had to measure the Mississippi River with M&Ms. And bonus, can you spell Mississippi without any M&Ms? English is a word problem. If mail plus box equals mailbox, does lipstick minus stick equal lip? Does tuna fish plus tuna fish equal foreign fish? Phys ed is a sports problem. In 1919, Babe Ruth hit 29 home runs and batted .322 and made $40,000. In 1991, the average major league player hits 15 home runs and bats .275 and made $840,000. What is the correct answer? Babe Ruth is less than the average modern baseball player. Babe Ruth is greater than the average modern baseball player. Babe Ruth equals the average modern baseball player. I think that one's probably true. In art, we finally get to relax with a connect the dot picture. Here's my picture. Too bad for me that it turns out to be a connect the ancient Mayan numeral dot picture. Math, is, of course, just a total problem. Mrs. Fibonacci says that there are many ways to count to 10. She asks us to give examples. Russell counts his fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Molly counts by 2s and says 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Mrs. Fibonacci says, I always count 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. On the planet Tetra, kids only have 2 fingers on each hand. They count 1, 2, 3, 10. And on the planet Binary, kids have only 1 finger on each hand. They count 1, 10. Question number 1. What are the next 5 numbers in each sequence above? Question number 2. Do you think Mrs. Fibonacci has been to the planet Tetra? Question number 3. How would you bowl if you lived on the planet Binary? We are just about to go home when Rebecca remembers that her mother made special birthday cupcakes for her to share. There are 24 kids in our class. There are 24 cupcakes. So what's the problem? Well, Rebecca wants Mrs. Fibonacci to have a cupcake. Everyone is going crazy trying to figure out what fraction of a cupcake each person will get. I'm the first to figure out the answer. I raise my hand and I just tell Mrs. Fibonacci that I'm allergic to cupcakes. Everyone, 24, believes me and gets one cupcake. No one has to figure out fractions. Smart. I stagger out of school and I'm a math zombie now. I have to find something to break this math curse. I decide to try chocolate. My favorite candy bar is usually 50 cents. But guess what? Today it's on sale for 50% off. Where A equals the number of letters in your first name, B equals your age, and C equals your shoe size, I decide to buy licorice instead. I pull out my money, and I have a $5 bill, a $1 bill, a quarter, a penny, and George Washington is on both the quarter and the dollar bill. Abraham Lincoln is on both the penny and the $5 bill. So which is true? 1 Washington equals 25 Lincolns. 5 Washingtons equals 1 Lincoln. 1 Washington equals 100 Lincolns. 1 Lincoln equals 20 Washingtons. Don't forget to show your work. Extra credit. How do you think Thomas Jefferson feels about all this? And now I am a raving math lunatic. What if this keeps up for a whole year? How many minutes of math would that be? What is your problem? Asked my sister. 365 days times 24 hours times 60 minutes. Dinner brings no relief. While passing the mashed potatoes, Mom says, "What your father says is false." Dad helps himself to some potatoes and says, "What your mother says is true." I think about that for a minute. Well, if Mom says, if what she says is true, then what Dad says is false. But what if Dad says is false, that what Mom says isn't true? And what if Mom says isn't true, then Dad says isn't false? And that can't be true because he says what Mom says is true, and she says that what he says is false. Can that be true? I think about that, and then I think about it some more, and then I decide to go to bed. I undo 8 buttons plus 2 shoelaces. I subtract 2 shoes. I multiply 2 socks and divide 3 pillows to get 5 sheep. Remainder 1, which is all I need to count before I fall asleep. And then the problems really begin. I dream I am trapped in a room with no doors and no windows, and the room is covered with a lifetime of problems. I have only one piece of chalk. How do I get out? I'm about to give up and die when the answer to my problem comes to me. Fractions! I break the chalk in half, and then I put the 2 halves together, and 1 half plus 1 half equals 1 whole. Get it? 1 hole, like a door. I jump in the hole in the wall, and I'm free! And I wake up Wednesday morning at 7:15, and it takes me 10 minutes to get dressed, 15 minutes to eat my breakfast, 1 minute to brush my teeth, and my bus leaves at 8 o'clock. What time will I be ready? 7:41. No problem. I've broken the math curse. I can solve any problem at all. Oh my goodness, life is great until science class when Mrs. Newton says, you can think of almost everything as a science experiment. Math Curse by John Sheska. And there are really some wonderful math books that are out there. But here's the thing. Some kids learn a lot easier with books that are more straightforward. And also, it depends on their age and things like that. Like we have a series, Rookie Math Readers. And, I gotta be honest with you. Like they're okay, but, these are 20 $20 each. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and that's a whole math problem, and they're not very interesting. I mean, they're okay, but they're very, very like just say what it is. You know what I'm saying? Jen works at a pet store. She's figured out how many pets and supplies are sold in a day. Jen will use subtraction to see how many new pets and supplies she has to order. And so it's very right in your face. She's going to use subtraction. 4 minus 3 equals 1, that kind of thing. And if your child is really into the more straightforward kind of way, we have lots of great books just right for that. But there are also some other alternatives. This is a wonderful series, I think. And if you've ever seen our math programs that we do sometimes, Mouse Math, this is a great, great, great series by this Eleanor May, and it's about a brother and a sister, Albert and Wanda, and there are ones on directional words, and there's ones on adding, and they're mice, and they're doing their thing, and they're just absolutely wonderful, and they're also getting those math concepts across, but not hitting you over the head with it. Same with this series too. This is the Math Start series by Stuart Murphy, and they come in 3 different levels: ages 3 and up, ages 6 and up, and ages 7 and up. And like this one, for example, odd and even numbers. So there are a bunch of different ways, different books that you can use using manipulatives, or what I like to use an even more kind of professional scientific term for it, stuff. Using stuff for them to count and move their hands, because the more senses you can get in there, the touch, the feel, all that jazz, the touch, the feel of cotton. Anyway, my friends, if you think that you are not a math person and you don't want your kid to be worried about math, because then they might have to get a liberal arts degree, and then they'll have to get a master's degree in something so that they can get a job. I'm just kidding. But that's what my mom always used to say. She always used to say, if you're not good at math, you can't be an accountant and you can't be a teacher, so you're going to have to keep going to school, because, you're not going to do anything with an English degree. You're not going to do anything with a psychology degree. You're not going to do anything. But anyway, I digress. My dear friends, thank you for the privilege of serving you and your children. Check out up there, you can see the site that has some wonderful links to people who know much more than I do, except that I do know that our library and we and I love serving you. And Miss Jo will be back next week, and we'll have another topic for you. Thank you so much. Bye.